Hey guys, Demeris Morse here, Content Marketing Manager at Digital Niche Agency. I am going to show you how to host an incredible webinar for your equity crowdfunding raise. I've also put together this deck for you so you can walk away from this video with the tangible know-hows on how to host a great live event. So let me hit present here and let's get the ball rolling. So webinars for equity crowdfunding. Why webinars? So webinars are a great way for you to get the chance to meet your investor community or potential new investors into your campaign. It also gives investors the chance to meet you face to face and get to hear all about your company straight from, the founder. What an incredible opportunity. So it's really, really important to build your investor community through live events. And you know what? Live events also offer a way for you to build your content assets. Videos are the most engaging piece of content you can create, and recorded webinar is a great way for you to build fodder in your campaign and provide more information for your investors. So I really encourage you to run webinars on a monthly basis at least, so you can meet and greet with your investor community, share any major updates in the business that you have, and give them a chance to learn more about you one-on-one. It's a very personable experience and investors love it. So if you're not doing webinars already or haven't thought about doing a webinar, I highly encourage you to do so. So how do you host a great equity crowdfunding webinar? There are eight things I'm going to recommend for you in this video today to do to host a really incredible and smooth event. So first one, you have to choose the right platform. It's all about the platform you choose, and there are some key essential elements that your platform is going to need. First, you're going to need to allow your registrants to register via email, or your attendees to register via email. That way you can collect the emails of those who are interested in your webinar. Even if they didn't attend, you can throw those emails into your email newsletter campaigns or any email drips that you have automated and add them to that list. Next is you're going to want a Q&A or a chat feature, some way for your attendees to communicate with you during the course of the event, because you want to answer their questions. This is all about them, and you want to encourage them to drop their questions in the Q&A. Next is you are going to want to turn your attendees' videos and audio on and off, especially if you're hosting really large events. You're going to need someone to moderate the attendees, and you don't want attendees to willy-nilly just hop in and start talking all of a sudden. You don't want to hear attendees' background music or whatever is going on in the background of their lives. So make sure that their video and audio is turned on and off. You just want to give them the capability to talk to you directly via chat or the Q&A feature. Next, you will need screen sharing abilities. I really recommend, and you'll see this in my later step, is that you share a small pitch during your event and you have a small pitch presentation. So you'll want to share your screen, and your hosts and co-hosts will also need to be able to share. So make sure your platform allows you to do that. Next, automatic email reminders for those who have registered for the event. You'll want your platform to send them a reminder that, like, hey, tomorrow is the event. And then the day of the event, you're going to want your platform to send them like 1 hour reminders, like, hey, 1 hour, our event is starting. That way, it helps encourage the max amount of attendees that come to your event. And last but definitely not least is recording. You are going to want to have this video as a brand asset that you can use during the course of your campaign, that you can clip up and post on social media. Maybe there's a really good segment you can run as an ad creative, or you just want to post the entire video to your platform or your portal. Doesn't matter, you're going to want this recorded. So make sure your platform can record your webinar live. I really recommend to you Zoom. Zoom has all of these features, and it's very, very cost effective. In fact, if you work with DNA, we're going to use Zoom off the bat because it's just one of the best platforms out there for webinar management. So there are tons of other platforms though, and I just encourage you to find the one that's best for your business and that also has all of these features. Step number 2 to hosting a really incredible event is you got to set up the registration link, and that registration link has to be powerful, engaging, and convert potential attendees. So Let me give you an example of a registration link here. You can see this is what a Zoom registration link looks like. You're obviously going to need to pick a date and time for your event. That's going to need to coordinate within your schedule. And if anyone is moderating the event, it's going to need to fit into their schedule as well. Typically, I would recommend lunch hours or after work hours, as that's just when most people are going to be available. We're targeting everyday investors in equity crowdfunding, so these people work. And I really recommend looking for, a time that's going to work around their work schedule. You're also going to need a short description, so tell attendees what the event is going to be about and who they can expect to see at the event. Definitely include your logo. Brand recognition is everything. And then lastly, include the speakers. In Zoom events, you can't see it here per se, but if you would scroll down on the registration page at the very bottom, there is a section for speakers, and you can add their photo and like the speaker's name and title. So we really recommend also including that information as well. Okay, step 3 to hosting a great webinar. You got to market it. There's no point in creating an event and then not telling anybody about it. So definitely market your event to bring as many attendees as possible. So here are the following promotions that I would recommend as a minimum. 2 weeks out, you're going to want to create an ad. Then you're also going to want to do an email promo. You're going to want to post it on your portal, so Start Engine, WeFunder, wherever you're raising money or capital. Then you're also going to want to post it on social media. And then 1 week out, you're going to want to send a reminder via email, your portal update, and social media. And then 1 day out, you're going to do like a last chance to register via email, portal update, and social media. And this is the minimum. Of course, you can do a lot more from here as well and get creative with how you market your event. But these are the 3 minimum reminders that you should be telling your audience about. All right, step 4. Understand compliance, especially if you're going to take these webinar recordings and post them to your portal. Your portal will have a lot of compliance rules to ensure that you can post it live to your investors. So the basics, and I can go a whole nother video discussing compliance, but the basics here is that you do not want to mix terms and non-terms of your agreement. So terms of your agreement are generally stock price. Are you going to do an IPO, use of proceeds, etc. When you planning on closing the raise, those are all terms of the agreement. Non-terms are anything like executive leadership, market opportunity, market growth, competitor analysis. That's all non-terms of the agreement. That also includes like how your product physically works, etc. You cannot mix the two during these events, or your portal will have you like edit out sections of your webinar. It might become choppy, and it's just better just to avoid all of that during these live events. I linked here in this deck a great reference sheet for you to definitely review and check out. That way, during the event, if you have someone that says like an investor that's asking you what the minimum price is for your stock, you can avoid answering that question live, but rather direct them to say, hey, thank you, such a great question. Please check out our raise page for more information on the terms of the agreement, or feel free to reach out to us directly at info at your company's email. That way, during the live event, you're not mixing terms and non-terms, and you're not getting a slap on the wrist from your portal and having to do any post-editing after. Step number 5, have a brief pitch deck presentation for at least the first 10 to 15 minutes of the event. It's likely that you're going to get potential new investors, people who are brand new to your brand during these events. So it's really important that you are at least giving a brief introduction anytime you host a webinar on who and what you do. Right? So things to include in your deck: team info, the market opportunity, competitor analysis, discuss your unique differentiators, and discuss any existing traction. You could also add any current quarterly updates, monthly updates, etc. I would also let, you should speak to the mission and vision of the company as well, and the story. Like, what is the story of the company? How did this company come to be? Just to catch up anybody who might be new to the brand. Of course, if you're having existing investors come on a monthly basis, which they do, they're already going to know, but that doesn't mean they don't need a reminder and update as well. In fact, it's just an opportunity to re-inspire them and to potentially reinvest in your company. Step 6, leave enough time for open Q&A. I just recommended you to do a pitch. That is great. However, I have seen events where they take most of their time discussing the pitch and going through their initial presentation and providing a lot of great info. However, then they don't leave enough time for investors to actually ask questions and then for the executive team to actually answer them back. So remember to leave enough time, because ultimately the purpose of this event is to encourage investors to ask questions and to answer them and to create that bond as you're communicating together. So at the beginning of the event, during your pitch, and after your pitch, really encourage your audience to drop their questions in the Q&A for you to answer out loud, and then for you to read the question out loud and then for you to answer to the entire community. And if your audience is really shy, you're just hearing crickets the entire time, come prepared with some questions that you might get a lot and be ready to answer them live. So at least you're still engaging the community and informing them, even if they're not directly asking you questions during the event. So don't remember, questions and answers, super important for these events. Step number 7. Have a call to action. You want to tell your community what to do next. Do not be afraid to tell them that you are investing capital and that they should go check out the terms of agreement on your portal page. If I moderate an event, I'll be like, hey, look, we are at 500K. Our goal is we want to raise 510K with you on this call. Please check out and learn more about the investment opportunity on the portal. And if you haven't invested, invest now. Tell them literally, invest now. Now is the time. The best advice you can give any investor is to invest early, get their dollars in early. So really come up with really strong call to actions to sprinkle in during the course of the event to encourage investments live. And if you're noticing you're hitting you actually raised that 10 grand during the event, don't be afraid to announce. I'd be like, hey, we just hit 10K live with you guys. That's so great. We're so excited, that you're so motivated and, you believe in our brand. Thank you so much for our investor community, because then you create that additional bond during the event as well. You together achieved a goal. So that is really cool, and you definitely want to bring that to light during the event. Step number 8, got to post-market your event. The whole purpose of this webinar too is to have that asset after the event that you can share and clip up for the rest of your campaign. A large video like a webinar is a great asset to have. So here's how you can post-market your webinar. Create a blog out of it. Have it transcribed, write some copy for it, post it on your physical website. Then send an email out to everyone saying hey, did you miss our webinar event? No worries. Here's the video. Send them the video so people who wanted to attend but could not could still see it. That way they don't feel excluded. Definitely post it as a portal update. Your hottest audience is on your portal, so definitely share it there. Even live during the event, tell investors that they should, follow your campaign page and look for the video there, as you will be sharing it with them there. That way you get more followers on your campaign as well. And then social media, you can post the entire video to social media once it's done. However, I encourage you to extend the life of your content by clipping it up and repurposing it. So maybe you got some common questions asked during the event. Maybe turn that into an FAQ blog and repurpose and link your webinar in the blog. Or maybe turn it into a carousel post for Instagram. Maybe just clip up the video verbatim and take 60 seconds to 3-minute clips and repost that to social media. So content is all about how can we repurpose and extend the life of my content. That way you don't put in extra work creating new content, but you can extend the value of what you already have created. And that is, a webinar is a great one you can repurpose into different pieces and different channels. All right, and that is it. Those are my 8 steps. 8 great steps to throw a really great webinar. And like I said in the very beginning, don't be afraid to host monthly live events. So existing investors have a chance to continuously get updates on your brand, and then new investors have the chance to get to know you and really build a connection and get all of their burning questions answered. Webinars are a great event, And if you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to me. And if you're not quite sure themes or where to start, let's review these slides here for you. So here's some common themes of events that that I host with DNA and that we recommend. An investor panel Q&A, verbatim. Basically bring your pitch for 20, 15, 10, 20 minutes, depending how long your pitch is, then just leave open-ended Q&A. Minimum. That's the easiest lift. That is something you can do on a monthly basis for your investors. If you want to mix it up, here are some additional ideas. Bring in one of your lead investors onto your webinar and let them speak to why they invested, and then let your potential investors or existing investors ask questions to your lead investor, right? It's great third-party validation and allows them to hear from another investor on why it's such a great investment opportunity. If you have a product, I really recommend doing a product demo and showcasing how your product works live, and then leaving some open-ended Q&A. And then a quarterly update. For every quarter, I would recommend at the end of the quarter, you do a Q1 2021 update, Q2 2021 update for your investors, so you can recap all the traction that you built over the quarter and all the major updates. And then at the beginning of every new year, I would recommend doing a roadmap webinar. So for instance, 2022 is coming up. I've recommended to a lot of my clients to do a 2022 roadmap webinar where basically they're going to do a small pitch at the beginning, right? Just like our investor Q&A panel, but then they're also going to dedicate a few additional slides to the roadmap for this year. Like, what are the major milestones that the company is projected to hit, wants to hit, and why they need the investor support to hit those milestones. So those are additional ideas that you can play with. They're by no means an exhaustive list. There's sure more ideas you can do out there, but this gives you at least a basic minimum of what you can start to play with. Investor Q&A, I definitely and highly recommend. If you don't want to do any of these other ones, do a monthly investor Q&A webinar. Great event to host for your raise. And if you're still not sure what to do, in this deck, I've linked some actual recordings of webinars with me and colleagues who have moderated the events. So I really encourage you to skim through this list and watch these webinars just to get some ideas of how they're run and what you can expect during a webinar event for your equity crowdfunding raise. And if you're still not sure, then feel free to reach out and ask some questions. Again, if you didn't catch my name's Demeris Morse. I'm the content marketing manager at Digital Niche Agency. You can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on DNA's website as well. Don't be shy. I'm here to answer all the questions that you might have. I'm always an open ear. So reach out if you need anything. And thank you for watching this video. I want to say, if you haven't followed our channel already, go and hit the little bell button at the bottom. You know what to do. Feel free to comment. Follow us. We're here. We're your equity crowdfunding resource. So we're here for you, and we're really excited that you watch this video today. And thank you for your time, and let us know if you need anything. Have a great day, guys. Thank you.